What's going on, guys? It's EVil from Pure Evil MMA, frontproofmedia.com, and I cannot believe it's UFC 205 finally going down tonight for a historic event. Conor McGregor versus Eddie Alvarez. Not only that, Tyron Woodley versus the Wonderboy. No one's been able to stop him. I'm going to be giving everybody all my predictions. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you guys subscribe down below. I just released the podcast with the warm-up. We had Blair Tugman come on from Bellator. He talked to me. I spoke with Bilal, remember the name, Muhammad, who's going to be fighting tonight on FS1. And we are just minutes away from a historic event. So wherever you are tuning in right now, I hope that all my predictions can help you. Last time Conor McGregor fought, I went 12 for 12 on the night. Nate versus Conor 2. All night long, hitting them left and right. So I hope tonight we have the same kind of luck. We have crazy matchups at hand. Frankie Edgar versus Jeremy Stevens. Nurmagomedov versus Michael Johnson. I cannot wait for this. Also, Misha Tate versus Raquel Pennington. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get right to it. Plus, also, guys, I had a little guest also for Twitter. I started a new thing for everybody to give me their predictions. So Mr. Judd ranks in with his predictions. You guys can check out the podcast. It's up on Apple, iTunes, podbean.com. Make sure you guys go check it out. The chat room is open right now, and it is 9:56. Fights are going to be starting in about 4 minutes. So let's get a quick run through on this card. And you guys, make sure you guys follow me on Twitter as well, at Pure Evil MMA, also at Evil_Echo. I'm actually at my mom's house watching it on the big screen TV. She actually called me and was like, oh, I want to see Conor McGregor fight. So I think we got to give Dana White a pat on the back, because MMA in 2016, it's been one hell of a year, and it's going to be a historic night tonight, guys, in New York right here. I can feel the energy pouring through the windows. After a crazy week of the elections, people are on the edge of their seats, not happy. So here's a little break from reality, and I hope that all of our new listeners and followers can enjoy tonight. So starting the night off, we got Caitlin Chukagian, who's going to be fighting a veteran. And of course, it was Veterans Day this week. Liz Carmouche going in there, and we've seen Liz Carmouche in there for a couple times. Veteran fighter compared to Chukagian. But Chukagian in her last fight fought Lauren Murphy, and that was an all-out war. Lauren Murphy's no joke. She goes in there, pushes forward, and has had some of the best fights so far in the promotion. Before she was in the UFC, everyone thought that she was going to be the next champion in the UFC to take out Ronda Rousey. Then you got Chukagian going in on her debut and rocking her. So I circled Chukagian for that fight. After that, Jim Miller versus Diego Alves. Now, Jim Miller, his last fight, thought it was going to be one of his last fights against Joe Lozon. And what happened? Joe Lozon didn't get the win that night. Jim Miller did, showing everybody that, his time's not up. He's still a high contender in this weight division. So I actually picked Jim Miller to win this against Diego Alves. Both guys been around for the same amount of time, but Jim Miller, I think he's going to put on a war tonight. This is a huge card. Both guys are used to the hype, but fighting at a place like MSG, wouldn't want to be a rookie making my debut there. So then we get into their prelim cards on FS1 starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Bilal, remember the name, Muhammad versus Vicente Luque. And originally, this was the first fight that everybody kind of got nervous about, because Bilal, remember the name, Muhammad, making a great debut this year, but his original opponent, Lyman Good, got busted by USADA, failed for a drug test. And that night, he posted on Twitter, he was like, look at these, I'm an unnatural beast. And it just looked so bad for him. But I actually did the interview with Bilal Muhammad, who's going to be fighting tonight, and he said that he's going to go in there against Vicente Luque. He's going to finish it early on in the fight. We saw earlier in the year that he got a fight of the night bonus. He told me that he wants a performance of the night, and he's going to go into the stands and watch the rest of this epic card. So make sure you guys check that interview. That's also down below. If I have any new listeners, make sure you subscribe down below. I do this every event, give my reaction following the show. I'll be covering it throughout the night on my Twitter page and also on Facebook, just at Pure Evil MMA. There was a couple fall throughs. Kelvin Gastelum at the weigh-ins, missing weight by 8 pounds. I don't know how you miss weight by 8 pounds on one of the most historic cards. That's just unheard of and very unprofessional, if you ask me, especially since it's not the first time that he's missed weight in the past year. I think this, out of his last 10 fights, I think he's missed weight 4 of the 10 times. Doesn't look good. So the next fight, Tim Boetsch versus Rafael Natal. I got Tim Boetsch there. We don't have to discuss too much about that. Boetsch will probably get the knockout. He's had a rocky career, hot and cold. Wins 1, loses 1, wins 2, loses 3. You never know with him, but I'm taking my chances there with Tim Boetsch. Been watching him, what he's been doing in the gym leading up to this on his Instagram, and looks like his mind's in the right place. I usually like watching the weigh-ins to find out like how the fighters look. You can tell a lot by a fighter just by like the atmosphere that they bring with them, the post-fight, the post-weigh-in interviews that they do, just to see where their head's at. Usually wait till then to make my predictions. So then we got a number 2 contender. A lot of people would argue he might be number 1 contender, but after last weekend, there's some argument here. Habib Nurmagomedov, or Habib Nurmagomedov, however you want to pronounce it. People in Russia, Habib. Over here in America, Khabib. Whether you want to pronounce that K or not, but undefeated, and that's my argument. If he wins tonight against Michael Johnson, the number 1 contender, of course, is Tony Ferguson, who just beat RDA, the former champion. And to me, even if you're on a 9-fight win streak like Tony Ferguson is, you have an undefeated career. I think that's way more impressive than saying that I went 9-0 in the UFC. I mean, Habib's never lost in the UFC, so how about that? 23-0 record. Tonight trying to make it 24, or it might be 24-0, I'm not positive, but Michael Johnson wins, it will be a huge upset, I think. His last fight, he just knocked out Dustin the Diamond, who's been top contender in that weight division. His last loss before that was actually to Conor McGregor. But he got knocked out in the first round. So after that, I got Habib winning that one against Michael Johnson. Then we got Frankie Edgar versus Jeremy Stephens now. Frankie Edgar was on a hot streak before this fight. Then he fought Jose Aldo, and the contender of that fight, whoever won that, was going to fight for the featherweight title, which Conor McGregor is currently the champion in that division. Tonight, however, he's going to be trying to move up to be the first person in UFC history to hold belts in 2 divisions at the same time. It's never been done before. BJ Penn was a 2-division champion, but never before at the same time has this been done before. For the UFC to have Conor McGregor headline this to take another belt, it would be the most historic fight. I mean, let's look back at some of the fights at Madison Square Garden. Smokin' Joe Frazier, ring a bell, guys? There's been some historic fights there. Muhammad Ali, Gretzky. I mean, it just goes on and on, even outside fighting. Mom, have you ever been to Madison Square Garden before? What did you go see there? My mom, of course, saw the Grateful Dead at Madison Square. Was that magical? And she was pregnant with me. Well, there you go. There you go, guys. I had my debut at Madison Square Garden as well. But, you know, Madison Square Garden, all you can say about that, coming over to New York this year, it's legalized. MMA finally legal over here. And they're planning, Brooklyn is going to be coming up in February. They just announced at the Barclays Center. But when you're fighting at MSG, you got to make it magical. You got to go in there with a bang. Dana White made it perfect. Jose Aldo, a little sore about this. He thought he was going to get the fight, but it's special occasion super fight. So 2-division champion Conor McGregor, but getting back into it. Frankie Edgar versus Jeremy Stephens. I got Frankie Edgar here. His last fight, he lost against Jose Aldo. However, he was on a huge fight streak leading up to that. Jeremy Stephens has like 17 knockouts under his belt. Everyone who doesn't know Jeremy Stephens probably most remembers him from the presser that they had earlier in the month where Conor McGregor goes, "Who the fuck is that guy?" Yep, that was Jeremy Stephens. And his last fight was against Renan Barão, who was a former champion as well, until TJ Dillashaw took his belt. It's a tough fight for me to pick. I want to pick Frankie Edgar. Jeremy Stephens has just as good of a chance to win this. I am going with the former champ, Frankie Edgar, to win this one. And that is the headline of the prelim. So after that, you guys are going to have to purchase pay-per-view. And if you don't have time to do that, you don't have the money, I'm going to be giving content updates throughout the night on Twitter at Pure Evil MMA and also at Evil_Echo. That's EVIL_ECCO. If you guys don't have Twitter, don't worry, because I'm also on Facebook. So make sure you go facebook.com/MMA, at Pure Evil MMA. I also got t-shirts for sale, guys. So if you want a t-shirt, just message me. Let me know. I got a couple left for sale. And I'm actually rocking one tonight. My little sister actually wore hers in her school pictures. My little sister wore the Pure Evil MMA shirt in her school pictures, Ma. Yeah. I'm actually happy. Front Proof Media, one of the people there working for us, is going to be there tonight. So make sure you guys give him a follow. It'll be on my Twitter page as well. All right, so getting into the pay-per-view event, Miesha Tate versus Raquel Pennington. Raquel Pennington made my list of the top 15 pound for pound this year. Just based on her performance this year, not much more guideline went into that. But she made my top 15. This is going to be her 4th fight this year, I'm pretty sure. But Miesha Tate, the former champion, wasn't able to hold on to the belt for too long. She's coming off UFC 200 loss, and she just wasn't herself that night. She had a really hard weight cut, And it looks like the fights are starting right now, guys. So make sure you guys tune into UFC Fight Pass. Following that, it's going to be on FS1 starting at 8 p.m. if you don't have UFC Fight Pass. But I got Miesha Tate to win that one. Raquel Pennington, is a tough girl. That fight will most likely go to decision. But I do have Miesha Tate winning. After that, Chris Weidman versus Yoel Romero. I got Chris Weidman winning that. I mean, a lot of people won't agree with me, but the winner of this could most likely become, the next contender for that belt against Bisping, because we had a rocky start. Luke Rockhold dropped out of the fight. He was supposed to be fighting Jacare Souza, but he got injured. He's out of that fight. That was originally supposed to be the 4-man tournament, but MMA gods did not like that. Strike it down. So now Chris Weidman has the chance of a lifetime. For Chris Weidman to be on this card as well, he's from New York, so this is a very big deal for him. He's one of the fighters that actually fought for MMA to be legalized here in the East Coast, here in New York. So I got Chris Weidman. I would love to see him win tonight against Yoel Romero, who's a lot smaller than Chris Weidman. Of course, he's stocky. He looks like he's not a natural fighter. He actually is coming off a pop, but apparently it was dirty kangaroo meat or contaminated pills, whatever you want to stick it on. Katlyn Chookagian about to become the first person ever to walk into the octagon at MSG, and it's happening right now. History is starting right now, guys. So yeah, I got Chris Weidman to win that. After that, the first title fight of the fight, and there's going to be 3 title fights tonight, guys. Unheard of. Joanna Jędrzejczyk is going to be fighting Karolina Kowalkiewicz, however you want to pronounce it. If you're Polish, you could probably pronounce it better than me. I'm like a quarter Polish, and I still can't pronounce it. But this is a huge fight for the Polish population. Over here in New York, it's a huge... What, ma? Kowalkiewicz, Kowalkiewicz. So which? Kowalkiewicz. Witz. I mean, I've heard her even pronounce it 3 different ways. So you never know. And then Joanna Jędrzejczyk. She's Polish too. This is a huge fight for people over there in Poland. These are their 2 biggest stars in Poland. Joanna Jędrzejczyk wants to prove to the entire world that not only in Poland is she the champ, but in the world. She is the world champ. To come over here in the UFC, you got to be elite. It would be a huge upset if Karolina wins tonight, but you got to watch out for that girl's clinch game. We saw what she did to Rose Namajunas. Watch out for the clinch. Joanna is a Muay Thai fighter. She likes to stand on the outside and bang. She'll push forward, put on together like a flurry of punches, 6, 7 punches at a time, and switch it up with the kick. Always switching it up, confusing her opponents, but most exciting part in this fight to watch out for is the clinch. Watch out for Karolina's clinch tonight. If you want to put money on that fight, you could. It would be a huge upset. I think it's probably it would be a good payout. It's probably like a 1-3 payout, I'm sure, or more. Joanna Jędrzejczyk is definitely the favorite in that. So for one of the first times, we have the champion Tyron Woodley, who is the underdog in this fight. This is going to be his first title defense. He just knocked off the ruthless Robbie Lawler. He's going up against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Liz Carmouche is coming to the octagon right now, guys. I hope you guys are watching. But Tyron Woodley coming in here. He's got the long reach. Woodley likes to play on the outside. He switches it up. No one can break the wall, but we've seen Woodley. He likes to blitz forward punching. We see that happen a lot over at the gym that he trains over at. So I wouldn't be surprised if Woodley wins. However, I picked Wonderboy to win this fight. We saw what he did to Johnny Hendricks. We've never seen that happen before. For somebody to beat GSP, well, pretty much beat GSP. In my opinion, he beat GSP. In the judges' eyes, not so much. But I got Wonderboy winning this one. And getting onto our main event, Conor McGregor trying to make history tonight. Eddie Alvarez trying to say there is no Santa Claus in that. He's trying to make people believe that he's something that he's not. But you know what? Conor McGregor, time after time, proves to us that he's one of the elite fighters in the world. And if we see what he did in his past couple of fights where he kind of lulls you to sleep with his stance, he's always switching it up. He throws that leg kick, and then he'll switch it up with that 1-2, and that power. It's debatable whether Conor McGregor has more power than Eddie Alvarez here. He's moving up to 155 to fight. He's a 145 fighter. However, I don't even see him going back to 145. It's hard to even think that. He looked awful at 145 during that weight cut. But I got Conor McGregor here winning most likely in the 3rd or 4th round. He's going to come out strong. If Conor McGregor's cardio can last, he can break Eddie Alvarez down like we've seen him do before in the past against Chad Mendes. We've seen him Marcus Brimage, Dustin the Diamond, 13-second knockout over Jose Aldo. I mean, it's just unpredictable. I would not be surprised if Eddie Alvarez wins. I got Conor McGregor winning by TKO in the 3rd or 4th round. He says the 1st round. I really don't see that happening. But the fights are about to start. I got to check it out. Thanks for tuning in to Pure Evil MMA Prediction Show. I'll be giving my live reaction immediately following the fights. I hope you guys enjoy the night. Absolutely amazing. Over here in Madison Square Garden, history is in the making. So excited. Have a great night, guys. And make sure you guys follow me on Twitter at Pure Evil MMA and at Evil_Echo. I got to enjoy the night. Let's make some history. Enjoy it.